Welcome to my channel, Worldwise. This is gonna blow your mind. On a long-haul flight, you pull up the window shade, expecting a city or mountains, maybe a patchwork of fields or a coastline glittering in the sun. But instead, you're greeted by an endless, unbroken expanse of deep blue ocean, stretching as far as the eye can see, shimmering under the sunlight. It stretches from horizon to horizon, a vast liquid desert with no sign of land or human presence, just water, sky, and the occasional wisp of cloud. The sheer scale of the ocean is humbling, a reminder of how small we are on this planet, how much of Earth remains wild and untamed. On some rare routes, this view isn't a brief interlude, but the entire journey. Hours of nothing but water below, the monotony broken only by shifting light and cloud shadows. These flights cross the most remote parts of Earth, where the ocean reigns supreme and land is a distant memory, hidden far beyond the curve of the planet. The moving map on your seatback screen becomes hypnotic, your plane inching across a blue canvas with no land in sight, the progress almost imperceptible. The names of oceans scroll by, but continents are absent. It's a voyage across one of the last great empty spaces on our planet, a reminder of how much remains unexplored. Here, you truly feel the meaning of isolation, and marvel at the engineering that lets us cross such a formidable expanse, suspended between continents by human ingenuity. The beauty is breathtaking, but there's a subtle vulnerability. You're a tiny speck, flying over a world indifferent to human life, where nature's scale dwarfs all else. This is the ultimate wilderness, where nature's raw power is on full display, and the endless blue reminds us of both our fragility and our capacity for wonder. Most international flights cross oceans, but few match the isolation of those traversing the South Pacific. Unlike the busy North Atlantic, the South Pacific is a colossal empty stretch, its vastness almost unimaginable. Here, flight paths are lonely trails, navigated by only a handful of long-range aircraft. The most extreme routes, like those between Australia and South America, cross the most desolate water on Earth. For hours, the view never changes, just sky and sea, with diversion airports thousands of miles apart. This journey is a testament to modern aviation's ability to conquer distance, and to the profound remoteness of the ocean below. Near here lies Point Nemo, the oceanic pole of inaccessibility, the spot on Earth farthest from any land. To fly near Point Nemo is to be as far from solid ground as it's possible to get, a true oceanic wilderness. Point Nemo, named after Jules Verne's Captain Nemo, is not an island, but a set of coordinates in the South Pacific, 48°52, 6S, 123°23, 6W. It's the place on Earth most distant from any land, calculated in 1992 by survey engineer Hervoje Lucatella. The closest humans are often not on ships, but aboard the International Space Station passing overhead. This fact highlights the sheer scale of the oceanic void surrounding Point Nemo. Its remoteness has made it the spacecraft cemetery, the safest place to crash decommissioned satellites and space debris. Over 260 pieces of space junk have been sent here since the 1970s. Point Nemo is defined not by what's there, but by what's absent: land, people, and almost all signs of life. It's a domain where silence is broken only by wind and waves, a final resting place for the remnants of our exploration. Here, humanity's reach is at its most tenuous. The isolation of Point Nemo is staggering. It is a place where the concept of remoteness takes on an entirely new meaning. The nearest land, Ducie Island, is 2,688 kilometers away, so distant that it's almost unimaginable for most people. To the south lies Mahar Island, a remote outpost of Antarctica, surrounded by endless ice and water. To the north, Motunui near Easter Island. Each of these islands is equally distant, emphasizing just how isolated this spot truly is. Imagine being at these coordinates, literally the farthest you can be from any land on Earth. In every direction, there is nothing but water for days, with no sign of civilization or shelter. Even Easter Island, the nearest inhabited land, is a tiny speck of humanity in the vast Pacific. It is itself one of the world's most isolated communities, with only a few thousand residents. The waters here are part of the South Pacific Gyre, a swirling system of currents that dominates this part of the ocean. This massive current blocks nutrients from reaching these waters, making this one of the least biologically active regions on Earth. Almost no fish, no plants, just emptiness. The ocean is crystal clear, but largely barren, a true marine desert, where life struggles to survive. For any vessel or aircraft, This distance is a daunting challenge. Navigation and survival require careful planning. Help could be days or even weeks away, depending on weather and sea conditions. There are no coast guards, no ports, no rescue services, no one to call for immediate help. Just the tyranny of distance and the endless, indifferent sea. Any ship in distress is entirely on its own, with no backup or support for hundreds of miles. Crews must rely solely on their own resources, skills, and preparation to survive. This is isolation in its purest form, a test of endurance and self-reliance. Here, the vast, lonely expanse of ocean shapes every decision, every moment, for those who dare to cross it. LATAM Airlines Flight 800, from Santiago to Sydney, is one of the few commercial flights venturing near Point Nemo. For hours, passengers are among the most remote people on Earth, with nothing but ocean below for thousands of miles. The flight is a marvel of planning. Pilots are specially trained, and every detail is calculated for the immense distances involved. The closest diversion airports, like Easter Island or Tahiti, can be several hours away at any point. The on-screen map shows the plane moving steadily into a vast blue void with no land in sight. It's a rare opportunity to contemplate the true scale of our planet, a glimpse into a world defined by emptiness. This journey is more than a flight. It's an expedition across one of Earth's final frontiers, highlighting both human ingenuity and nature's formidable power. Here, self-reliance isn't just a virtue, it's a necessity. Flights like LATAM 800 never fly directly over Point Nemo. Aviation rules forbid it. Regulations like ETOPS, Extended Range Twin-Engine Operations Performance Standards, require planes to stay within a set distance of diversion airports. This creates an invisible safety corridor, forcing flight paths to arc closer to places like Easter Island and French Polynesia. The area around Point Nemo remains a no-fly zone for commercial airliners, not because of danger in the air, but because of what's missing below: any hope of rescue. The 400-mile buffer is a silent acknowledgement of the limits of our technology and the unforgiving nature of this environment. Careful route planning is a hidden layer of safety, balancing efficiency with caution. Pilots are not just flying, they're navigating a web of safety regulations designed for extreme isolation. Even with our most advanced aircraft, some parts of the planet demand the utmost respect. In a serious emergency over the South Pacific, isolation becomes a life-threatening obstacle. Communication relies entirely on satellites. There's no radar coverage or ground-based infrastructure. If a plane ditches near Point Nemo, rescue could take days, if it comes at all. The water is cold, survival times are short, and the nearest ships or aircraft are often thousands of miles away. Search and rescue would be a logistical nightmare, with debris drifting in the vast gyre. This grim reality is why safety standards are so stringent for these routes. Prevention is everything. The silence and emptiness of the South Pacific are a constant reminder. Here, failure is not an option. The Qantas flight from Sydney to Santiago sometimes takes a southerly route, tracing a path over the endless blue of the Southern Ocean, far from any landmass or civilization. This route brings it closer to Antarctica than any other regularly scheduled commercial flight, skirting the very edge of the world's most remote continent. In the unlikely event of an emergency, the only possible landing site for hundreds of miles might be McMurdo Station, a remote American research base perched on the frozen Antarctic ice, surrounded by nothing but snow and silence. McMurdo's runways are carved directly into the sea ice, temporary, shifting, and maintained only during the brief Antarctic summer. Landings here are extremely rare and require pilots to undergo special training, as the conditions are unlike anywhere else on Earth. The weather is extreme and unpredictable. Blizzards can appear without warning, and temperatures can plummet in minutes. Even if a landing were successful, survivors would find themselves stranded in one of the harshest, most isolated environments on the planet, where rescue could take days or even weeks. McMurdo has only basic facilities, with a small medical clinic and no capacity to handle a mass casualty event or provide long-term care for large numbers of people. The nearest major city is thousands of miles away, separated by vast stretches of ocean and ice, making evacuation a daunting challenge. These journeys fill us with wonder at the reach of our technology, how we can cross such immense distances in hours, soaring above the most remote places on Earth. Yet, they also remind us of our fragility and how quickly we can become vulnerable when far from help. The empty ocean and frozen continent below are powerful symbols of a planet still wild and untamed, where nature reigns supreme. Flying over Point Nemo or Antarctica is a journey to the very edge of our connected world, a place where human presence is fleeting and the unknown still dominates. It's a profound reminder of the vast, beautiful, and unforgiving planet we call home, and of the courage it takes to cross its most remote frontiers. My next video, watching now.